Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome inside East Gymnasium here at Fort Lee, the setting for the 2021 Jack Reilly Holiday Basketball Tournament. As we will begin our quarterfinal round here in this event that will begin here today, semifinals tomorrow, and the championship on the 30th of December. Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Long, joined alongside by Dimitri Nandis and Renee Matisich. So glad that you could join us, courtesy of these free broadcast streams, courtesy of the Fort Lee Athletic Department. In our first game of the day, it's going to be the Bergenfield Bears taking on the Passaic Valley Hornets. Bergenfield 1-0 on the season, Passaic Valley 1-1. And as you can imagine, based on what is going on in the world right now due to the Omicron variant, we are having changes aplenty in this tournament already. It's been announced that our second game, which was due to be Memorial of West New York taking on Riverdale has now left the tournament and will be replaced by Kennedy High School of Patterson. That'll be our next game. Both these teams are ready to go. Bergenfield will be the home side. They will be in their white, red, and black. Passaic Valley will be the road team for this first quarterfinal matchup of this tournament. Passaic Valley is coached by Kevin Toohey, 1-1 on the season. Bergenfield coached by Will Yeager, 1-0. And we are underway here from Fort Lee. So glad that you could join us for the Jack Reilly Holiday Tournament. And that's going to be a travel on the first take to the rim by Audrey Corella, number 3. Alu Ramadan, number 1. Stavros Makrianis, number 2. Audrey Corella, number 3. Nehemiah Redden, number 4. And Brian Whitney, the number 5 in green for Passaic Valley. Adrian Pena, number 1. Nicholas Lane, number 4. Amari Davis, number 3. Nick Pro, number 24. And Jorge Aquino, number 25. They're in the white here for Bergenfield. Bergenfield won their season opener against Dwight Morrow, a big North American Division team that's a rival of Fort Lee, 62-45. Here's a steal, so turnovers for both sides in their opening possession. Up and under, layup attempt by Ramadan, left short. Rebound instead goes out to Bergenfield. Passaic Valley started off the season with a win against another team we'll see here today, Passaic, as that's a high arcing three off the rim, no good. Fight for the ball in the paint and taken away by the Hornets. Here comes Passaic Valley. They lost in their last time out against DePaul Catholic. That shot left short, and that'll go out of bounds for the air ball after shot attempt by Brian Whitney. Whitney has been explosive in the early goings of the season for the Hornets. He had 31 points in their season opening win against Passaic. As the Hornets go to a 2-3 zone look, as we're still looking for our first points of the afternoon, our first day of action here at this Jack Reilly Holiday Tournament. Dan Long, so glad that he could join us. Feeding inside, but just could not complete the pass. Here's Whitney in the open floor. Look at that dizzying move to the rim, draws the contact, and one. Whitney with a nice Euro step finish. Draws the contact, makes amends after leaving his last shot short. And Brian Whitney will now have a chance at the traditional three-point play. He goes in and out, hustle play off to the near side. And that'll be a last touch off of Passaic Valley, last off of Nehemiah Redden. So Whitney will just have to settle for the 2 points. Passaic Valley taking the initial 2-0 lead. 6:20 and counting left to go in our first quarter of play. Bergenfield, a side that went 7-6 overall in the shortened season a season ago, winning their last 4 games of the season. Inside, a bunny miss there in tight. The follow-up attempt, also the layup missed, but they'll send Bergenfield to the line. Aquino had a perfect opportunity to lay it in. He just missed the layup, but crashing the offensive glass behind him was Amari Davis. And Davis will head to the line now, shooting 2. Amari Davis is a senior, 11 points against Passaic Valley in a game last season between these two as he knocks down the first foul shot. These two sides met on February 20th, 2021 at Bergenfield. Passaic Valley won a thriller in overtime, 64-61. Davis knocks down a pair of foul shots, now ties the score at 2-2. Passaic Valley working it inside to Whitney. Whitney bodied up and deflected. Last touch out of bounds off of Bergenfield. Whitney furious at the non-call. Nicholas Lane doing a good job of botting up inside with his size for the clean block. Entry inside, and once again, Whitney is rejected cleanly. But a follow-up attempt and a blocking foul whistled against Bergenfield in the paint. That time trying to stake out his position was Nick Pro, number 24, the senior. After he had initially cleanly rejected Brian Whitney inside. Again, Passaic Valley doing an exceptional job of crashing the glass early and often in this one. Nehemiah Redden missing his first foul shot opportunity, so Passaic Valley starting off 0 for 2 at the charity stripe. Redden, 9 points, 8 rebounds, 4 steals in the season opening win against Passaic. He misses both, so Passaic Valley not making the most of their trips to the foul line. 0 for 3 to start off this game. Bergenfield looking for their first lead of the afternoon. Cross-court pass into the corner. The shot is up from distance, and knocking it down for 3 is Nick Lane. Lane with the first triple of the game. For either side, 5-2 lead for Bergenfield. Give and go underneath the hoop, and that's knocked out of bounds. Last touch off of Bergenfield. Possession will stay here with Passaic Valley. They inbound it now to Whitney. Whitney matched up by Lane. Give and go, deflected away. There's Whitney again, soaring high to the hoop, and he has it deflected. Last touch off of Bergenfield. Their recovery defense has been stellar early on in this quarter, especially against the leading scorer for Passaic Valley in Whitney, number 5. 3 minutes gone by here in the first quarter. 5 unanswered points by Bergenfield. Driving on the baseline, leaving it short, and a rebound comes out in space to Pena. Here's Pena with the start and stop. Looking for an outlet. Great hustle play into the corner. But that goes out of bounds. Last touch off of Passaic Valley. 4:44 remaining in our first quarter of play. 5-2 the lead for Bergenfield. They are designated as the home side on your scoreboard. They're in the white. Passaic Valley, PV, the road team in the green. There's Whitney with the anticipation. Makes the play on one end. Staying off and not making the foul. And Whitney again incredulous at the non-call. That was a smart play there by Nick Pro. He already just picked up his first personal. He's number 24 down low. He laid off of Whitney. Whitney was expecting the contact, and that kind of threw off his shot opportunity. Whitney that time draws the contact. It's going to be a push called on the play. Will not count the shot. It's not a continuation in high school. So it will be a foul instead, whistled against Bergenfield. That will be their third team foul. The opening minutes of this first quarter. And after Brian Whitney had been demonstrative with a lot of no calls, it's kind of what you'd expect. The referee going to be having some words and telling him kind of calm down, hold your emotions, and don't show us up. Worked around. Here's a corner three from the near side. No good by Ramadan. Rebound inside by Aquino. Jorge Aquino making the rebound there. Bergenfield's trying to stretch their lead even further. 5-2 lead as we're quickly coming up on the midway point of our first quarter. Feed inside, Aquino just missing the layup again. Fortuitous bounce comes back to him, but he gets his pocket picked right back by Abu Bakar Ramadan. Down low, Passaic Valley struggling right now to find some flow in offense, but it's going to be another reach in against Bergenfield, and if that's going to be a foul against Nick Pro, that'll be his second. And that will be the case. So Pro already in foul difficulty. He did a good job of holding off what would have been a foul on a fast break attempt, but got caught with his hand in the cookie jar that time. 2 personal fouls, he stays in the game. 4 team fouls already against Bergenfield. Whitney weaving through the heart of the defense and gets it to fall. Ryan Whitney with all 4 Passaic Valley's 4 points to start off his first quarter. He pulls his team back to within 1 at 5-4. 3:35 and counting left to go here in the first quarter. Hot passing around the perimeter. Here's another spot up three and knocking it down. It's Nick Lane. 2 for 2 from three-point range. He's got 6 points in the game. Bergenfield with their largest lead at 8-4. Ramadan in the near corner, watched by Pro. Again, Pro with 2 personal fouls. He has to be careful. Whitney. And it's going to be a reach-in foul whistled against Nick Lane. For Lane, that's going to be his first. That's already going to be team 5th foul against Bergenfield with still 3:05 remaining here in the first quarter of play. While Bergenfield has been enjoying the lead, Passaic Valley has been carving up the Bears in terms of team fouls. As subs come into the game for both sides. And that time, it's going to be a triple knockdown for Bergenfield. And Brian Whitney. Whitney with all 7 Passaic Valley points so far in this first quarter. They trail 8-7. 2:42 and counting now left to go in the first quarter. Our opening game of this 2021 Jack Reilly Holiday Tournament. We'll have all 4 quarterfinal games here today. We'll have the consolation games starting tomorrow, the first 2 contests, followed by the 2 semifinals. Then a day off, followed by the championships on December 30th. Little sloppy play there by the Bears of Bergenfield. They'll turn it over and we'll give the possession back to the Hornets with 2:15 left to go in our first quarter of action. Ramadan. Looking for the entry, dropping it off, worked around the horn. Nice shake and bake pull-up jumper just inside the three-point line, crashing the offensive glass. It's Passaic Valley and Nehemiah Redden, and another reach-in foul against Bergenfield. And the fouls really starting to pile up here against Bergenfield in the first half. 6 team fouls already, while Passaic Valley has committed only 1 foul so far in this game. 1:56 left to go in the first. Bergenfield 1 foul away from entering into the bonus already. Whitney was stripped on his way up. Good defense there positionally by Bergenfield. Whirling around to the far side. As that was a play made by John Kredensky on the defensive end, number 10. On the baseline, give and go, intercepted, and this leads to the breakout the other way for Passaic Valley. Whitney was stripped on his way up, and a trail call from behind, a foul whistled. Looks like it will be in the act of shooting as well, as Whitney was stripped on his way up. And that will send Brian Whitney to the line for a chance to give his team the lead as they trail 8-7. Whitney sinks down the first foul shot. He's now 1 of 2 at the line in the game and has all 8 points for Passaic Valley so far in this first quarter. Second foul shot also good. So give Whitney and Passaic Valley now 9 points. They've gone on a 5-0 run and have now taken a 9-8 advantage as we close in on the final minute of the first quarter of play. Give and go inside. That bounce pass just a little too low. Dimitri Chavez could not handle that one at his shoelaces as that goes out for another Bergenfield turnover. So the Bears have gotten sloppy after taking a 1.84 advantage. Here's Whitney. You could see why he scored 31 points in the season opener. He is the all-everything scorer for this side. Gets the Whitney on the baseline, curls around the defender, and another foul whistled against Bergenfield, and it looks like it's going to be in the act of shooting as well. Eighth team foul. Already that's going to be the second personal foul against Kredensky. As Whitney swishes home the foul shot. He's now made his last 3 consecutive foul shots in a row. He has all 10 of Passaic Valley's points here in this game. And Whitney again, that's how you get a score going. Just easy points, easy pickings at the line. 4 for 5 at the line in this first quarter. 8 team fouls against Bergenfield. Passaic Valley leading 11-8 in the game. Bergenfield's trying to stop the bleeding. It's been a 7-0 run for the Hornets of Passaic Valley. Chavis giving it off, now dumping it down low. That extra pass just a little too much for Emmanuel Lee. Lee was down low underneath the basket, tried to kick it out to another teammate rather than going up himself. And that led to another turnover. 11-8 the lead now for Passaic Valley. We'll see if the Hornets will elect to hold for one final shot of the quarter. They've taken control after falling behind by as many as 4 points early. Whitney across the lane, contorts the body, misses, fouls his own miss, banks it in, no, it goes hard off the rim, no good. Bergenfield looking to run, just to try to beat the clock, up and under move, and a foul in the act of shooting will stop the clock with 0.6 seconds on the clock, and will send Bergenfield, should be, to the line for 2 with Emmanuel Diaz, number 13. Aggressively taking it to the hole and drawing what was only the second foul of the quarter against Passaic Valley. First foul shot, no good by Diaz. Second foul shot, rattles in. So finally, Bergenfield breaks that long drought. Passaic Valley will chuck it down the other way and get close as they hit it off the backboard, no good. So after the first 8 minutes have expired, it's Passaic Valley leading Bergenfield by a score of 11-9. Stick around as we'll be back for the start of the second quarter of play here in the quarterfinal matchup to get us underway in the 2021 Jack Reilly Holiday Tournament. Welcome back here to Fort Lee, where Passaic Valley, they're the road side in green, leading Bergenfield, they're the home side in white by a score of 11-9 after the first quarter of play. All 11 Hornet points scored by Brian Whitney. And there's another missed opportunity inside. Aquino unlucky here. So far in the first half, he has had 3 great opportunities inside the paint that have just rattled in and out. There's a missed shot the other end, now in the open floor. Pro trying to go give and go, but telegraphing that one. Whitney going coast to coast with the left hand and falls down now for Brian Whitney. 13 points in the game for the senior. And about to be another turnover here for Bergenfield. After that skittered off the hands of Bergenfield's player in that far corner. Now an opportunity for Passaic Valley to extend their lead. They led 11-9 after the first quarter. Again, no other Hornet player has scored other than number 5, Brian Whitney. And there is a steal forced by Bergenfield, and then the ensuing foul whistled against Passaic Valley. Only the 3rd team foul whistled against the Hornets, as that foul will be charged to Nehemiah Redden. Lane has been the leading scorer for Bergenfield, number 4 in white. He has 2 3-pointers to give him 6 points in the half. Lane getting it up top to Pro. Nice give and go inside, and finally it falls inside for Jorge Aquino. Aquino with 2 points in the game pulls Bergenfield back to within 2 at 13-11. Corella, dizzying move to the hoop. He gets fouled on his way up, and this is going to be an interesting one. Is this going to be a foul against Nick Pro? If so, that'll be his third personal foul, and it is just that. Pro picks up the personal foul. He now has 3 personal fouls here in the first half. That'll send Audrey Corella to the line, shooting 2. As Corella will tickle the twine and become the first player other than Brian Whitney to get in the scoring category. Corella had 4 points, 6 rebounds in the matchup against Bergenfield from a season ago. He goes 1 of 2 at the line. Bergenfield quickly trying to get it down the other end of the floor and moving just a little too quickly there. Another turnover for the Bears here in the first half. But despite all of this, they're only down by 3 here against Passaic Valley. 14-11. There's Whitney. What a great job of contorting the body. Hung up in the air and off balance, kissed it off the glass, and then a little look to the Bergenfield sideline as they were saying no way in the midst of the shot. Whitney proved otherwise. 15 points for Whitney now. Whitney with the steal. Here he comes the other way. He's been a one-man wrecking crew as he gets it down the floor to Audrey Corella for the layup, and a quick timeout taken by Bergenfield. Stopping the clock with 5:48 left to go in our first half of play. Largest lead of the game now for Passaic Valley at 18-11. Passaic Valley a season ago, fans, went 12-3 overall, finishing in a 3-way tie for first place in the Big North Independence Division with the 2 Wayne schools, Wayne Valley and Wayne Hills. Speaking of Wayne Hills, as I mentioned, all sorts of changes being made just prior to the start of this tournament. As I mentioned, Riverdale has dropped out of the tournament. They were going to be playing in our next game. Kennedy has replaced them, and also another Bergen County team dropped out. Westwood was going to be playing in our third game against Passaic. Wayne Hills is now going to be a participant in the Jack Reilly Holiday Tournament. So we will see 2 Passaic County teams here at Fort Lee today. Kennedy and Wayne Hills. Wayne Hills, again, no strangers to their league rival. Passaic Valley is playing off to a nice start to this game. Bergenfield nearly traveled it. Kicked out in a high arcing 3 of the near side. No good, but an easy layup inside. Aquino cleans up inside. Nobody was in the same area as big number 25. And speaking of nobody in the same area, give and go in the backdoor feed. Nick Weaver, the beneficiary of the layup there. 20-13 now the lead for Passaic Valley as we come up on 3 minutes gone by here in the second quarter. Seven-point lead, the largest for both sides here so far in the first half. As Bergenfield moving it around the horn, Pena who runs the point, give and go. Aquino again inside. Now he's starting to make Passaic Valley pay after he missed his first 3 shots of the game. He's made his last 3, and he has 6 points to tie Nick Lane for the team lead here in the first half. Bad bounce pass underneath. That leads to a turnover for Passaic Valley, and Bergenfield with the possession here. We're 20 and counting. Lane, who has knocked down a pair of triples in this first half. He's the dangerous one. Telegraphing that one was Pena. Leads the other way for the one-hand, left-hand flush by Whitney. Whitney was 17 points in the half. 22-15 the lead now for the Hornets of Passaic Valley. Here's a pull-up 3 from straight away off the back iron, crashing the offensive glass inside and laying it in was Jameer Roper, number 2. Luis Perdomo. As we've had some jersey changes, Perdomo getting the layup for Bergenfield. Just could not finish inside was Corella. Whitney just lost it as he was spinning around. Loose on the floor. Nice shake and bake move to the rim. Hung up in the air and fouled on his way up was Nehemiah Redden. And that will send Passaic Valley once again to the line, and that is the 10th team foul against Bergenfield. They've been fouling at a high clip in this first half. Redden, though, has struggled at the foul line here in the first half. He's 0 for 3 in his first 3 opportunities. .3:17 left to go in our first half. 22-17 the lead for Passaic Valley. Now Redden makes amends, goes 1 of 2 at the line there. He's 1 for 4 in the game. His first points extends the lead back to 6, 23-17. As Bergenfield trying to keep pace here. They have found success inside. Here's a kick out for a long distance 3, short. Aquino inside and kissing it off the left side of the glass. What a bounce back effort in this second quarter, and quickly down the other end was Whitney. And now a technical foul is whistled at the end of that play. A little jawing going on and taunting as Whitney scored quickly his 19th point of the game. As we get everything sorted out here of who is officially going to be assessed the technical foul, it looked like it was going to be against Brian Whitney. Again, he was the one who had some words to exchange with Aquino after beating him down the floor. First foul shot is no good by Adrian Pena. 25-19 the deficit facing Bergenfield. Their second foul shot opportunity here for Pena is also no good. So they can't convert there at the foul line after being gifted the 2 foul shots after the technical. So the referee's trying to gain control of this one again after some jawing had been going on. We had seen a couple possessions earlier, the Bergenfield bench going at it with Brian Whitney, but after last quick transition hoop by Whitney, said something, and referee saw that immediately and teed him up. But Bergenfield could not cap that off with a successful foul shots. 3-pointer is airballed, and now Passaic Valley getting called for the double dribble. They had the rebound inside by Macrianis. But then Stavros picked up his dribble, trying to reset himself and dribble again, and gets called for the double dribble. Possession will stay here with Bergenfield. They'll outlet it up top to Lane. Lane back to Pena in the corner. Pena, give and go in the baseline and inside. And Jorge Aquino. Aquino now with 10 points in the first half for Bergenfield, keeping the Bears in this game. Cutting inside, nice curl, but not a finish there for Corella. Here comes Bergenfield the other way. Aquino has been their scoring threat, and a little out of control, and an offensive foul whistled against Bergenfield. So Jorge Aquino with all 10 of his points here in the second quarter has now pulled his team back to within 4, 25-21. Passaic Valley with possession here on offense with under 2 minutes left to go, and there's a triple on the outside by Macrianis. Only the second made 3 of the first half for Passaic Valley. They once again extend their lead out to 7. 28-21, and there's a steal, an opportunity for the Hornets the other way. Fouled on the way up was Stavros Macrianis, as he will head to the line trying to give Passaic Valley their largest lead of this game, as they currently reside at a 7-point stretch. Macrianis just had the last 3 points on a triple, had 11 points and 3 made threes against Bergenfield a season ago, and he misses the first foul shot. So outside of Brian Whitney, who's 4 for 5 at the line here in this game, Passaic Valley has really gone cold at the charity stripe. Second foul shot is good. So 4 in a row for number 2 in green. Largest lead of the half now, 29-21 after Bergenfield had gone on a bit of a run to pull back to within 4. Give and go inside and another steal. Macrianis doing a little bit of everything on both ends of the floor. Dives on it for the loose ball, and possession arrow will give the ball back to Passaic Valley with 1:17 remaining here in our first half. Here's Weaver. Weaver giving it over to Abendanza. Vincent Abendanza's coming to the game. And what a hard take there. Macrianis taking over since Whitney has left the game. 6 points in a row for number 2. Passaic Valley now pushing the advantage to double digits, 31-21, as we come up on the final 50 seconds of the first half. Working around the perimeter, Lane looking for a teammate in the corner. Here's Lane, who had 6 points in the first quarter, has been held scoreless here in the second. Here's another high arcing three. This time it's knocked down in the near side corner, as that was Demetrius Chavis. Chavis with the three that he'd been searching for. Passaic Valley with 10 seconds left to go in the quarter, looking for the final shot of the half. Leading 31-24. Working around. Good defense by Bergenfield. A shot to beat the buzzer. Just off the mark there by Audrey Corella. And that will end an exciting first half of play, with Passaic Valley on top of Bergenfield by a score of 31-24 in our first quarterfinal of the day here at the 2021 Jack Reilly Holiday Tournament. Stick around as we'll come back with all of the broadcast action to get you started for the start of the second half here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody, inside East Gymnasium here at Fort Lee High School, where we're moments away for the resumption of play in the start of the second half. Passaic Valley leading Bergenfield by a score of 31-24 in our first game of our first day of the 2021 Jack Reilly Holiday Tournament. Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Long, joined alongside by Dimitri Nanis and Renee Matisic. So glad that, again, you could join us here for the start of our tournament that is ever-changing. If you're just joining us, in our second game, it was scheduled to be Memorial of West New York taking on Riverdale. Riverdale has bowed out of the tournament due to COVID. Replacing them at the last moment is going to be JFK of Patterson. The Kennedy Knights will be taking on Memorial in our next game. Westwood was supposed to be in our third game of the day against Passaic. Instead, it will be Wayne Hills entering, as Westwood has also bowed out due to COVID issues from this tournament field. So this is our first game. The winner of today's game will advance to take on the winner of the other games later on here today in the semifinal round tomorrow. So the semifinals will be played tomorrow, and then the championship will be contested on December 30th. In that first half of play, Bergenfield was led by the game-high 10 points of Jorge Aquino inside big number 25. But the leading scorer overall in this game resides on the visiting sideline of Passaic Valley. 19 points in the first half by Brian Whitney. He was sensational in leading the Hornets. Stavros Makrianis has also chipped in 6 points as well for the Hornets, who've led by as many as 10 points in that first half of play. 7-point lead as we get underway to start the third quarter. Bergenfield's in the home white. Passaic Valley defending in the road green. Dumped down low into the post, just a little too high for Aquino. As that trickles out to play, Ramadan triggering the break. Here goes Whitney from deep right outside by his own sideline. That three off the back iron and will eventually carry him out of bounds. Possession will go back now for Bergenfield. Whitney had 19 points, and for a long stretch of that play in the first half, he had all the points in the game for Passaic Valley. As it works around the perimeter, over to the near side it goes to Pena. Out top of the key as Davis giving it over to Pena. A long-range three well behind the arc, no good. And Whitney tracks it down in that far corner. Here comes Whitney in the open floor. The big lefty draws the contact. That is something that he did early and often in that first half, as he'll pick up another foul against Bergenfield, as that will be foul number 3 against Nicholas Lane. So Lane picks up the foul and a 2-shot opportunity now here for Whitney. Whitney off the back iron, no good. He had hit his last 4 foul shots in a row after opening up the game with a miss. Now 4 for 6 from the charity stripe. Looking to score his 20th point of the game. Whitney started off the season again with a 31-point performance and a season-opening win at home against Passaic. He now sinks that second foul shot. 20 points in the game for the senior, Brian Whitney. 1 minute gone by here in the second half. Here's another long-range three for Bergenfield. That's off the mark for Pena. Tipped out, but into the waiting hands of Whitney. Whitney with a 2-hand flush finish. He now has 22 in the game. And the first 3 points of the second half for Passaic Valley. Pro with a head fake. And it's going to be an offensive foul. Great help defense underneath the rim. Drawn by Nehemiah Redden. And in the process, that gives Nick Pro his 4th personal foul of the game. So Pro is going to have to slowly check his way off the court. Picking up foul number 4, and Bergenfield already with 2 fouls here. Six and a half minutes left to go in the third quarter. Off the cut. That shot just left short by Abu Bakar Ramadan. 10-point lead again. Bergenfield has to try to stay close here. Passaic Valley trying to push away and pull away here in the third. Whitney again was trying to time that anticipation. Here's another three for Bergenfield. The three's just not falling for the Bears. as that's another three that clanks off the side of the rim. In this game, Bergenfield is connected only on 2 3-pointers, both by Nicholas Lane back in the first quarter of play. Neither team really utilizing the three-point shot in their offensive arsenals. Both teams with only 2 threes apiece. A turnover for Passaic Valley. Here's Lane driving through the lane. Referees say play on. Nice reverse layup attempt, but left short at the rim by Amari Davis. Nothing falling right now for Bergenfield. On the baseline, there's going to be a blocking foul whistled against Bergenfield as once again, Whitney so adept at drawing the contact, searching out the fouls, and getting those fouls whistled against Bergenfield. And now it's going to be a second player for Bergenfield who will pick up a 4th personal foul in this game, and that's Nicholas Lane. Lane will have to check out as well. But a ensuing turnover right on the inbounds. Going down the other way, Bergenfield will lay it up and in with John Kredensky scoring his first 2 points of the game. Passaic Valley leaving the man in transition for a 3, no good. Davis skies for the board. Here's a transition shot, and he banks it in. I don't know if he called that one, but it still will fall for the 3. And Luis Perdomo now with 5 points in the game. Bergenfield on a 5-0 run. But there's a nice give and go and a layup underneath the rim for Ramadan. His first 2 points of the game. 36-29. 4:40 and counting left to go in our third quarter of action. First game of the first day of this Jack Reilly Holiday Tournament. Bergenfield spinning around inside, and it's going to be called for a travel. Passaic Valley was waiting. They were trying to draw another offensive foul, but instead it leads to the turnover on the travel by the Bears. 4:27 left to go in the third quarter. Passaic Valley, if you're joining us, led 11-9 after 31-24 at halftime. Started off hot here in the third quarter. Bergenfield went on a run just before the last layup by Passaic Valley. 7-point lead. Here's a 3-point opportunity. No good. That time by Weaver. Here's Bergenfield in the open floor. Again, a give and go, but nobody on the other end of the pass. Whitney the other way. He tries to go up. It's a clean contest. A clean block as we play on a host of humanity underneath the rim. And now the foul is whistled on a shot opportunity by Passaic Valley. There were 2 different players that were interlocked with one another underneath the rim that prevented a drive to the rim. But Passaic Valley did still earn a shot opportunity at the foul line after Audrey Corella, who had 3 points in the first half, drew the contact in the act of shooting. 4 fouls against Bergenfield here in the third quarter as we're just past the midway point of the quarter. And Corella knocks down the foul shot. He's 2 of 3 at the line here in this game. 4 points in the contest now for Corella. Second foul shot, no good. Aquino grabs the rebound. Back to an 8-point lead now for Passaic Valley. Hard contest right to the lane, and drawing the contact that time was Amari Davis, the senior. And Davis, number 3, will head to the foul line himself for 2 shots. First team foul against Passaic Valley. The Hornets have done an exceptional job of not fouling in this game. And Davis left that first foul shot short. We'll get a second opportunity as subs being made for both sides. Macrianas coming back into the game for Corella. Macrianas went on a 6-0 scoring spurt of his own near the end of the second quarter. Davis sinks in that second foul shot. He's 3 of 4 at the line in this game. Give him 3 points for Bergenfield. 37-30 now, the lead for Passaic Valley. Under 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter. The winner advances to the semifinals. Here's Weaver, high arcing 3, again left short. Good rebound inside by Bergenfield. Here come the Bears on the breakout. Bergenfield with a pair of their starters in foul difficulty with 4 fouls apiece here, still with plenty of time, 3 minutes and counting in the third quarter. And that was a careless dribbling display there by Bergenfield, leading to the turnover as Passaic Valley once again turning over the Bears in the half court. The tie-up and the possession arrow favoring Passaic Valley. Quickly in the open floor. Here comes PV operating. Will they try to feature Whitney, who's curling on the baseline right now? A little bit of a shake and bake move, left the defender sprawled out on the floor, but could not convert was Macrianis. Did a nice killer crossover. Just couldn't get the jumper to fall. Here's a corner three for Bergenfield, left short. Karam's out in space to Weaver. Weaver in the open floor finds Whitney in transition. Here's the three, knocked down. Brian Whitney, his second made three-pointer of the game. He's got a game-high 25 points. Back to a double-digit lead at 40-30 now. Bergenfield kick out three. Here's another three-point opportunity. And again, Perdomo just can't get it to drop. Weaver out to Whitney. Whitney taking his defender off the dribble, stripped on his way up. Loose ball tie-up. And that's going to be possession arrow favoring Bergenfield. So Whitney had faked the three that time, drove to the lane. Bergenfield a couple times here today has done a nice job of staying strong inside and just tying up the big lanky number 5, Brian Whitney. Whitney has been exceptional, though, in this game. 25 of his team's 40 points. Bergenfield down by 10. Kredensky getting into the corner to Chavis. Trying to feed Aquino inside. Could not get it, and now it's going to be a reach-in foul whistled against Bergenfield. And the Bears will commit their 5th foul of the quarter. That'll be the 3rd personal foul against Kredensky. Fouls piling up once again in the second half, as was the case in the first half. Whitney on the baseline. The lefty contorts the body, missing wide of the rim. Rebounded inside by Perdomo. Here's Davis. Outlets it over to Chavis as we approach the final minute of the third quarter. Passaic Valley led by 7 at the break, have extended their lead by 3 here in the quarter. Left behind, a turnover. Ball kicked forward. Passaic Valley getting the bounces going their way and leads to the bucket in transition. Passaic Valley scoring the bucket with Joseph Saragno, number 32, scoring his first basket of the day in a jump ball situation. Possession arrow will give the ball back to Bergenfield. 42-30 now, the lead for Passaic Valley. The Hornets starting to feel it here. 43.2 seconds left to go in the third. After a brief 5-0 spurt early on in the quarter, Bergenfield has run dry here in this offensive end of the floor. They've struggled here today with their outside shooting against the Passaic Valley zone. Here's another corner three, and this time Perdomo does knock it down. His second made 3 of the quarter. He has 8 points for Bergenfield. 42-33, 15 seconds left to go here in the third. Nick Weaver, the senior guard, giving it over to Whitney. Whitney on the baseline, had the size advantage, banks it in over the defender. Brian Whitney with 27 points in the game, and he has led his team now to an 11-point lead after 3 quarters of action here from East Gym at Fort Lee. Stick around as we'll head to the start of the fourth quarter of our first game of the 2021 Jack Reilly Holiday Tournament here on Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you're enjoying our broadcast coverage of this opening day of the Jack Reilly Holiday Tournament here at Fort Lee High School in Fort Lee, New Jersey, just outside of the George Washington Bridge. I'm Dan Long. So glad once again that you could join us and support these great student athletes from all of the participating teams at this tournament this season. Again, breaking news, we've had 2 teams bow out of the tournament quickly to be replaced. To fill out the 8-team field, Kennedy will be playing instead of Riverdale in our second game against Memorial of West New York. And Westwood dropped out earlier before today, and Wayne Hills has taken their spots. So a couple more Passaic County teams filling out the 8-team field here at Fort Lee. And getting started right away to begin the fourth quarter play, it's Brian Whitney. He has a game-high 29 here today. 2 points away from matching his season best of 31 in the opener against Passaic, as Aquino made his cut to the rim and got fouled on the floor. That'll only be the 3rd team foul against Passaic Valley here in the second half. Grown their lead to 13. Laying a high arcing 3, just barely drew iron. Here's Whitney. Down the floor, and again, kissing it off the left side. He has such length that it's very tough to defend, especially for Bergenfield, who doesn't have all that much height on the floor. So Whitney is having his way. 31 points. This time, the jump shot by Nick Pro is off the mark. As we're coming up on a minute gone by here in the quarter. Here's Whitney, well behind the three-point line. Dialed it home for the triple. Whitney with 34 points, his 3rd made 3 of the game, and that was from well downtown, right in front of his own bench. Largest lead now at 18. Aquino missing the curling shot inside. The follow-up attempt also missed, but cleaning it up on the 3rd opportunity was Amari Davis. Davis with 5 points of the game. Here comes Weaver. Nearly at his pocket pick from behind. Now it's poked free. There's the turnover forced by Bergenfield. Good spin move there by Davis, holding it up in midair and finger rolling it home. A beautiful take there, coast to coast by Davis. 51-37 now the lead for Passaic Valley. Whitney tied up on his way up, and it's going to be a jump ball, and possession will go back to Bergenfield. Now a timeout taken on the floor by Passaic Valley as momentum starting to shift a little bit towards Bergenfield. It will be a 51-37 advantage now for Passaic Valley here in the fourth quarter of play. As again, Bergenfield going on a bit of a run after Passaic Valley, led by Brian Whitney's 34 points, has taken a stranglehold in this game as they're trying to secure the first victory of this tournament here at Fort Lee High School. Again, a reminder, fans, that our next game will feature Memorial West New York taking on Kennedy of Patterson, as Riverdale was supposed to be our first participant there, but they had to bow out because of COVID here. So it's going to be JFK taking on Memorial. Then it'll be followed by Passaic taking on Wayne Hills, who filled in for Westwood. And then our final game of our opening day of coverage is going to be Secaucus taking on the Bridgemen here of Fort Lee High School in our 4th and final quarterfinal. The winner of this game will play the winner of Memorial and Kennedy in our next contest. Those semifinal games will be played tomorrow. We'll also have the first 2 consolation matchups tomorrow with the losers of the games here on opening day. We'll have a day off and then come back at it on December 30th for the championship games, the 3rd place game, as well as other consolation games. 12 games over the course of 4 days. Basketball lover's dream. Aquino has fouled on the entry in the inside. We'll see if it's going to be ruled on the way up. It looks like it will be a 2-shot opportunity here now for Jorge Aquino. That foul will be charged against Joe Saragno. And for Serragno, that will be his second foul. Team's fourth of the half. And Aquino getting the nice shooter's roll there, hitting the back iron, popping it straight up and in. First point of the second half now for the Bergenfield big man. Aquino with 11 points to lead the charge. Second foul shot no good, but an offensive rebound secured there by Davis as his shoe comes flying off. He actually knocked in the three with one sneaker on, but it was going to be a whistle to the end of the play, so it will stay possession here for Bergenfield. Unlucky there for Amari Davis. He was tickling the twine with only one sneaker on. Into the corner. Lane getting back inside. Aquino, again, the size advantage there. And once again, he is fouled on his way up. So Bergenfield doing a good job of using that size advantage. And now trying to find their way once again to the line and trying to convert here at the line with the clock stopped with 5:35 left to go. Still plenty of time to manufacture a comeback. But they have to make the most of these opportunities at the line. Aquino missing his second consecutive foul shot. Second foul against Redden on the play. Now both teams with 5 fouls apiece. Aquino goes 1 of 2 at the line. He's 2 for 4 at the line in the game. 12 points in the contest now for number 25. And it's going to be a timeout taken on the floor. 30-second timeout. 51-39 the lead for Passaic Valley here in the fourth quarter. Don't go anywhere. We'll have an exciting conclusion to this one in our opening game of this tournament. Passaic Valley was starting to extend their lead a bit, as it's been the Brian Whitney show here today. He has scored 34 of the Hornets' 51 points, but Bergenfield has had a nice response to try to pull closer and still make this a game. 51-39, though, is the lead for Passaic Valley. 5.5 minutes now left to go in the fourth quarter of play. Touch passing, finding Ramadan. Ramadan looking down low for Corella. Back to Ramadan. Has 2 points in the contest. Goes hard across the lane. Lost the possession and then gets a pushing foul. Whistled against Aquino. Didn't go just straight up in that opportunity. And that cost Bergenfield a chance of making the stop on defense without allowing this foul shot opportunity. That'll be the 16th foul of the second half against Bergenfield. And only the first personal foul against the center, Aquino. Ramadan rattles that one in and out. No good. Still stuck on 2 points in the game. Two different players on the floor right now for Bergenfield playing with 4 fouls apiece. They have been mired in foul difficulty all game long. Ramadan knocks down the second, goes 1 of 2, 3 points in the game for Abubakar Ramadan. Little too fast there. Aquino lost that one. Possession arrow will favor Passaic Valley, so a quick turnover committed by Bergenfield. Turnovers and fouls, not a recipe for success here today for Bergenfield. Passaic Valley trying to ride on the back of their superstar to a victory here in the quarterfinals of this 2021 Jack Reilly Holiday Tournament. Around the perimeter, here's Ramadan. Whitney now being watched by Amari Davis. Again, Whitney has the size advantage. He's had it and enjoyed it all game long. Ramadan curls around, leaving it behind for Whitney. And Whitney is going to be fouled on the reach-in by Nick Pro. And for Pro, that is going to be foul number 5, and number 24 is fouled out of this game. And also, that will send Whitney to the line, shooting 1 and 1. 7 fouls, so the day is done for Nick Pro. Whitney already with a season-high 34 points in this game, trying to extend his team's lead. Missing the front end of the 1-1, but he fouls his own miss. Now taking it on the baseline, hangs in the air, just a little too long in the shot opportunity. Lane leaving it down low for Aquino. That gets popped free. Here's Whitney in the open floor. Whitney with his third jam of the day. 36 points in the game now for Brian Whitney, his second 30-point performance of the young season. 54-39, now the lead for Passaic Valley. As Perdomo will knock that one off of the leg of Ramadan. Possession will stay with Bergenfield here to the near side court. 3:55 left to go in the fourth. Passaic Valley starting to pull away here. Dangerous play, and that's going to lead to the turnover in the backcourt violation. Bergenfield had an opportunity just to really throw it into the backcourt for Pena, but instead they threw it right in front of the midcourt stripe, and he then had to just step on it in order to retrieve the ball. Passaic Valley have to expect to run their sets and run a little more time, and now it's going to be a foul whistled against Bergenfield. It looks like Whitney might have been poked in the eye. And that will be the 8th foul against Bergenfield here in the second half, and once again will send Brian Whitney to the line shooting 1-1. Whitney knocks down the first. He'll be granted a second. Now 37 points. He's already put himself in position for all tournament honors. Make it 38. Brian Whitney, 2 points shy of a 40-point performance here at the Jack Reilly Holiday Tournament. 56-39. He's already come close to matching the total team points by Bergenfield in this game. Here's a long-range three, no good. Rebound secured underneath by Redden. So Passaic Valley marching their way forward here, looking for the open man down the floor as Weaver will curl around the perimeter. On the baseline, again, PV just taking some air out of the ball and taking some time off the scoreboard. Good performance here in our first game of the tournament for Passaic Valley, one of the teams to watch that we knew coming into this one. They were impressive last year, going 12-3, and bouncing back nicely after a loss in their last time out against DePaul. They lost 60-56 on the road in Wayne. Aquino got that one disrupted a bit on his way up, had to double clutch, and that blew the layup attempt. And that'll be last touch off of Bergenfield. Possession going over to Passaic Valley, as the Hornets are 2:30 away from securing their opening win of this tournament. As Ramadan will inbound it, as Weaver will settle in as after Ramadan paid his hellos to yours truly at the broadcast table. As there is a whistle on the floor, it might have been a foul whistled against Bergenfield off the ball. So Abu Bakar Ramadan will head to the line, shooting 1-1 after it looked like a foul against Perdomo. Getting a little too physical off the ball on a screen play, and now Ramadan will try to add to his point total on the day. He has 3 points in this game, 1 of 2 at the foul line. 3 points, 7 rebounds, 4 steals in their opening win against Passaic. Rolls in that first one. Give him 4 points in today's contest. Again, stick with us. This is just the first of 4 games to get your basketball smorgasbord ready. Our next game is going to be Memorial of West New York taking on JFK of Patterson Kennedy. Second foul shot by Ramadan is no good. And it looked like an over-the-back foul against Ramadan will now stop the clock, and that'll be the 16th foul against Passaic Valley. So the next foul against the Hornets will send Bergenfield to the line, shooting at least 1-1. As Bergenfield going to their bench, bringing on a couple of their reserves here as we close in on the final 2 minutes of our first game of the tournament. Floater does not fall, though, as Jameer Roper, number 5, had tried his shot, trying to get his first points. Bergenfield's really clamped down here in the second half by the defense of Passaic Valley. There's Ramadan. Nice dizzying move, but just could not get the short jumper to fall. Bergenfield scored only 9 points in the third quarter, have only scored 6 so far here in the fourth. As that'll be another turnover for Bergenfield. And again, that's been the struggles so far for this Bergenfield side. Turnovers, fouls, and just not able to knock down a lot of shots. Led those opportunities for Passaic Valley to extend the lead. Looks like Brian Whitney's day is done. Whitney and the starters for Passaic Valley getting a seat, as it's going to be a made three-pointer here to the near side. Joe Saragno has chipped in 5 points off the bench, his first made 3 of the game. 60-39 now the lead. Brian Whitney, 38 points for Passaic Valley here in this first game of the tournament. Hesitating move and a nice layup inside by Emmanuel Diaz. Diaz with 3 points in the game for Bergenfield. 60-41 now for Passaic Valley. Up and under move and laying it in with the left hand. Macrianis with 8 points off the bench for Passaic Valley. He was actually one of the starters, so technically just off the bench after starting the game. That was a bad pass in the backcourt. Here's a hustle play for Passaic Valley the other way, as the Hornets looking for more. 62-41 lead. Here's Chavis for Bergenfield. In the corner, there's Perdomo. And Perdomo, for the third time in the second half, has hit from the exact same spot on the floor. 11 points for Luis Perdomo. And that'll be the final basket of the game and an impressive start to this tournament for the Passaic Valley Hornets, who will be winners by a final score of 62-44. Passaic Valley will go to 2-1 on the season. Bergenfield will fall to 1-1 overall this year. Passaic Valley will advance to tomorrow's semifinal to await the winner of our next game between Memorial and Kennedy, while Bergenfield will play the loser of the next game and will be playing early on tomorrow afternoon as well. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Passaic Valley, led by the efforts of Brian Whitney's 38 points in the game, leading the Hornets to the semifinals and a victory over Bergenfield in our opening game. So stay tuned for our next broadcast between Memorial and Kennedy coming up shortly. So for Dimitri Nanis and Renee Manisic, I'm Dan Long saying so long and come back soon here at the Jack Reilly Holiday Tournament.